Listen closely to what Senate Chairman Dick Durbin won't tolerate anymore. In just 4 words, immediate criminal referral recommended, followed by a January 15th confirmation vote that's now impossible to salvage. Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi's systematic perjury about DOJ independence would face the ultimate consequence. FBI investigation triggered if she continues lying under oath about Trump coordination. Bondi didn't expect a Senate chairman to state publicly that if you continue this deception, you're looking at immediate criminal prosecution, no confirmation, no career. Chairman Durbin didn't expect to have to threaten Trump's hand-picked AG nominee with felony charges after catching her in documented lies about Justice Department independence that 3 separate fact-checkers had already exposed as false. What did the January 12th confirmation hearing reveal about how Bondi's protection of Trump had pushed Senate Democrats to the breaking point where even an Attorney General nominee could face criminal prosecution for perjury? January 12, 2025, 10:23 a.m., Senate Judiciary Committee Chamber, Hart Building. Chairman Dick Durbin presided over what would become the most explosive confirmation hearing in modern American history. A Senate chairman preparing to trigger criminal referral against a sitting Attorney General nominee for systematic perjury about DOJ independence and documented coordination with Trump's legal team. Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi sat at the witness table with her confirmation team, projecting the same polished confidence she had deployed throughout weeks of preparation meetings. Her strategy had been consistent: claim complete commitment to Justice Department independence while carefully avoiding specific commitments that might conflict with Trump's expectations. But Senate chairmen aren't cable news hosts. They have constitutional authority that transcends political theater.
Miss Bondi, Chairman Durbin began, his voice carrying the controlled precision of someone who had spent weeks building an airtight case. We are here today because your testimony before this committee has contained what can only be described as systematic falsehoods regarding your commitment to DOJ independence and your coordination with President Trump's legal strategies. The chairman held up a thick folder marked Confidential, Senate Judiciary. This committee has obtained evidence over the past month showing a pattern of coordination between you and Trump's legal team that directly contradicts your sworn testimony to this body. So I'm going to ask you directly, have you coordinated with President Trump or his representatives regarding Justice Department priorities, personnel decisions, or ongoing investigations? But what Senate Democrats had discovered wasn't just political coordination, it was documented evidence of systematic deception that would trigger the most serious constitutional crisis in confirmation history. Bondi's legal counsel leaned forward. Mr. Chairman, the nominee has been clear about her commitment to independence and has answered these questions extensively. Counselor, I didn't ask you, Chairman Durbin cut him off with surgical precision. I asked Miss Bondi specifically about documented coordination that appears to contradict her previous sworn statements. Miss Bondi, will you answer the question? At 10:25 a.m., exactly 2 minutes into what would become a political execution, Bondi made the decision that would trigger immediate criminal referral proceedings. Mr. Chairman, I have been completely transparent about my commitment to Justice Department independence. Any suggestions of improper coordination are politically motivated attacks designed to undermine this confirmation.
Politically motivated attacks? Chairman Durbin's voice rose with unmistakable warning. Ms. Bondi, let me read from a signal message thread between you and Trump legal advisor Boris Epshteyn, dated December 15th, just 4 weeks ago. The revelation that Democrats had obtained encrypted communications sent shockwaves through the chamber. Signal messages were supposed to be private, secure, and beyond congressional reach. Quote, Pam, POTUS wants confirmation on DOJ priorities before hearing, specifically needs assurance on special counsel matters and investigative directions. Can you call tonight? Chairman Durbin read with devastating clarity. Your response at 11:47 p.m. Absolutely. We'll coordinate talking points with legal team. POTUS priorities will be DOJ priorities. The direct contradiction with her sworn testimony was undeniable. Bondi had told the committee under oath that she had no coordination with Trump about Justice Department matters. But Chairman Durbin wasn't finished destroying her credibility. He reached for a second document that would prove she hadn't just lied once, but had constructed an entire false narrative about her independence. Ms. Bondi, let me read from a recorded phone call between you and President Trump from December 18th. This conversation was captured on a line monitored by the Secret Service Communications Office. The mention of recorded calls sent panic through Bondi's legal team. Recorded conversations were evidence that couldn't be denied, spun, or explained away. Trump: Pam, I need you to understand that loyalty to me is loyalty to the country. The DOJ has been weaponized against me, and I need someone who will restore proper priorities. Your response: Mr. President, I completely understand. My DOJ will prioritize your agenda and ensure that political prosecutions end immediately. The words hit the committee chamber like explosive charges. Bondi had sworn under oath that she would maintain DOJ independence, but the recorded evidence proved she had explicitly committed to prioritizing Trump's agenda over justice. At 10:28 a.m., Chairman Durbin delivered the ultimatum that would dominate headlines for the next week and effectively end Bondi's confirmation chances forever. Ms. Bondi, you have committed perjury before this committee multiple times. Under federal law, that is a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in federal prison. I am giving you one opportunity to correct your false statements before I refer this matter to the Department of Justice for immediate criminal investigation. The word criminal sent electric shock through the chamber. Senate chairman threatening immediate criminal referral for perjury was rare. Threatening a sitting attorney general nominee was unprecedented. Mr. Chairman, Bondi's attorney objected desperately. Surely the committee wouldn't pursue criminal charges over political disagreements about independence. Political disagreements? Chairman Durbin's voice cut through the objection with constitutional authority. Counselor, your client swore an oath before this committee and then provided testimony that documented evidence proves is false. That's not political disagreement. That's perjury, and perjury is a federal crime. The chairman leaned forward, ensuring every word carried maximum impact. Let me be crystal clear about what happens next, Ms. Bondi. You have until 5 p.m. today to provide this committee with a full accounting of every communication, meeting, and coordination with President Trump and his representatives regarding Justice Department matters. If you continue to maintain false statements already contradicted by evidence, I will immediately refer your case to the FBI for criminal investigation. Bondi's face had drained of color. The confident political operative who had spent weeks preparing for confirmation questions was now facing a Senate chairman with documented evidence of systematic deception. Furthermore, Chairman Durbin continued, I am prepared to recommend to the full Senate that your confirmation be withdrawn based on lack of credibility. An attorney general who lies under oath to the Senate cannot be trusted with the power to enforce federal law. Then Chairman Durbin revealed the additional evidence that made compliance impossible and criminal referral inevitable. Ms. Bondi, this committee has also obtained your draft transition memorandum titled Restoring DOJ Priorities under Trump Administration. Let me read key sections that directly contradict your testimony about independence. He held up a document bearing Bondi's signature and campaign letterhead. Quote, Priority 1, immediate termination of special counsel investigations targeting President Trump and associates. Priority 2, redirecting DOJ resources from January 6th prosecutions to investigating 2020 election irregularities. Priority 3, personnel changes to remove prosecutors who participated in anti-Trump investigations. Each revelation was more damning than the last.
The memorandum proved systematic planning to weaponize the Justice Department for Trump's benefit, exactly what Bondi had sworn under oath she would never do. You didn't just lie about coordination, Miss Bondi. You lied about your entire conception of DOJ independence. This document shows you plan to use the Justice Department as Trump's personal legal weapon. At 10:32 a.m., exactly 9 minutes into the hearing, Bondi experienced complete professional collapse as documented evidence demolished every aspect of her confirmation testimony. Mr. Chairman, that memorandum was a preliminary draft that doesn't reflect my final positions, she stammered, her voice cracking under pressure. Preliminary draft? Chairman Durbin's response was devastating. Ms. Bondi, you signed this document 3 days before your confirmation hearing. The date stamp shows January 9th. You created this after swearing to uphold DOJ independence. The timeline was catastrophic. She couldn't claim the document predated her independence commitments when it was created after her oath. But Chairman Durbin saved his most explosive revelation for the moment when Bondi was completely defenseless.
Miss Bondi, this committee has also obtained testimony from Justice Department career attorneys who briefed you during transition meetings. They report that when asked about maintaining prosecutorial independence, you stated, and I quote, "Independence is fine for Democrats, but Trump deserves loyalty after what they did to him." The witness testimony eliminated any possibility that her coordination was misunderstood or taken out of context. Career DOJ attorneys had documented her explicit rejection of prosecutorial independence. Those attorneys are prepared to testify under oath that you specifically asked them to identify prosecutors who had worked on Trump-related cases for potential removal. Is that testimony accurate, Ms. Bondi? Bondi sat in stunned silence for nearly 30 seconds, her legal team frantically passing notes while cameras captured every moment of her breakdown. Those conversations involved complex transition considerations that required— That's not an answer, Chairman Durbin interrupted with prosecutorial precision. Did you ask DOJ attorneys to identify prosecutors for potential removal based on their work on Trump-related cases, yes or no? The binary question offered no escape. Either admit to planning prosecutorial purges or commit additional perjury on camera. Chairman Durbin gathered his documents with methodical precision, the gesture signaling the end of Bondi's confirmation chances in the beginning of criminal proceedings. Ms. Bondi, you have systematically deceived this committee about your coordination with President Trump, your commitment to DOJ independence, and your plans for politicizing federal prosecutions. You have committed multiple acts of perjury before the United States Senate. He stood slowly, his 77-year-old frame carrying the weight of constitutional authority. Effective immediately, I am referring your case to the Department of Justice for criminal investigation under 18 U.S.C. Section 1621, perjury before Congress. I am also recommending to Senate leadership that your confirmation be withdrawn due to fundamental lack of credibility. The chamber erupted in chaos as Chairman Durbin delivered his final constitutional judgment. The position of Attorney General requires absolute integrity and commitment to justice over politics. You have demonstrated the opposite. Your confirmation would represent a fundamental threat to the rule of law. As federal marshals prepared potential arrest procedures and ethics investigators opened files, Pam Bondi's nomination collapsed under the weight of documented deception. The woman who had promised justice had instead delivered perjury, coordination, and constitutional crisis. Sometimes the strongest weapon against political deception isn't partisan opposition or media pressure. It's documented evidence properly investigated by constitutional authority. Chairman Durbin had proven that in America, no nominee, no matter how powerful their patron, can lie to the Senate with impunity.
The January 12th hearing ended careers, triggered investigations, and restored faith that congressional oversight still matters when armed with evidence, integrity, and constitutional courage.